triumph in the trap.
This is for the dollar.
Do you believe in miracles?
Ay, I play chess, but only in 4D. I'm by myself, but they think I'm 4D. When they see me online, they think they know me. Go ahead, like and subscribe, you gotta show me. I applied pressure and they tried to reject it. Clearly ain't see I was a diamond, so they didn't accept it. Told me I was a failure, so I said F it. Might even start my own school and teach them a lesson. Yeah, I'ma call it South Harmon. Fly down south and get the South poppin'. One day I'ma give you a walkthrough and introduce you to this warp tool. I know you lost, that's just dynasty talk. Cause you can't start no franchise without no dynasty chart. I took a break from the game, nicked on my dynasty stock. Till I came back like Wembanyama, I feel like Coach Pop. I can't say that I'm the GOAT, cause you ain't gonna agree. But if I own my own farm, I can make the GOAT. Me, the ladies love the beard and they used to love the goatee. That's when I was a lamb, burning music on CDs. I wasn't born in 88, December 87, that was 16 days away. Might fly to Dallas, why not? I just got paid today. When I land this dirt statue, I came to fade away. Check the timeline for the stories and the play-by-play. My life a Patreon link, you gotta pay to play. I work 16 hours, boy, that's an 8 and 8. X Factor like Dez Bryant, my boy 88. Why dream light when you living like a heavyweight? This ain't a 1 week thing, we grind like every day. They know my destination, Devi, like I hang with Ray. If they ain't know my name, I bet they know my name today. Treat this mic like an ATM, let's make a trade today. Drop this on Fizzle Friday, cause that's my favorite day. And I'm gonna do it my way, cause that's my favorite way. They tried to put me on the shelf like I'm layaway. Told me it ain't no way, so I made a way. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. I'm glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. I'm glad you here today. Hit that Patreon link if you here to stay, Treat this mic like an ATM, let's make a trade today.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. So glad you could join us. As always, just a reminder, if you'd like your deals featured, patreon.com/South Harmon. Come join the Patreon. Not only for the trade show, but there's a lot of great stuff going on there. We have an incredible community, and you got questions. You need that advice, right? I get a lot of DMs, Twitter DMs. I don't have time to respond to all of them. I'm sorry, but Patreon, best way to do it. We got a great community, and Adam and I are in there all the time. So come hang out with us. What's up, Adam? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Yeah, come check out the Patreon. Discord's always popping. If you want your deals featured, it's the best way to get it there, as well as talk to a bunch of shitheads that always want to know about Dynasty. 24/7. Yes. Always someone available and willing to talk to you about any trade, whether big or small. So if you want your deals featured, that's the way to do it. If you could, go down, hit the like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. That's another way to support us without having to give us any money, actually. So without further ado, Mike, speaking of giving you money, let's see if we think this is a money move or not, huh?
All right, we'll find out.
Let's see what you did.
Hey, look, it's me.
UNS Smith getting a deal done. All right. Aaron Jones and Dalton Schultz, Mike, for a second, as well as just past the mark, as well as a third and another second. So it's 2 seconds and a third for Aaron Jones and Dalton Schultz. 24 and 25. These are all your picks. Talk to us about it. It's 12-team, 2 quarterback, 2 tight ends, full PPR, only a 0.25 tight end premium, start 11 best ball league.
Yeah, definitely not my settings. Even though I do commission this league, Adam, you can tell it's not I didn't make this league.
This was an orphan that turned into a orphan commissioner job too, right?
Yeah, this was an orphan league. Right? I took over the orphan team last year, and then I took over the whole league this year. Well, it was in danger of being abandoned. I was
going to say it went from a couple orphan teams to now we had like 9 teams that were going to all be league orphaned. So
got it.
Best ball resurrection. we do now have all 12, and talk to us about this trade, why you made this.
Oh, if I remember right, this is tough too because, you do so many leagues, but I'm assuming if I did this trade, my team wasn't too bad. Like, I wasn't super horrible. Right. All right. Yeah, I can already tell. Definitely not me too, because it's a best ball league, but no median scoring. Right. So,
well,
3-2 sitting in 5th place.
I'm looking, right. And it's we play each other this week, buddy. In this league,
we got a matchup going.
I'm 5-0. You're 3-2. Obviously, I think if I remember right with your team, this is a move where I think your team is probably a little more ready than you were expecting it to be as an orphan, and you're not pushing in major chips here. So I think that's, at least to what I'm seeing, that's part of the reason you make this trade.
Yeah. Man, this is a tough one too, because this is you expose yourself here. There's certain leagues that you pay heavily attention to, you're really invested in, and there's other ones that you manage. Right? If offers come around, you kind of look at them. But okay, yeah, all right. So I'm not crazy. I still got 2 first-round picks in that league. My own, somebody else's.
Dynasty Alex, what's up, Plank Crew?
Yeah, what's up? I'm going to take your first. Appreciate you. Team's a little bit more ready, right? Kind of in the compete mode. So let's get Aaron Jones. Let's get Dalton Schultz, and I still don't have to push those first in, right? I still get to hold them in my back pocket, in case it goes south. And it's my second, This is also, too, this is a weird league because it's run by me, but also you still got to, cater to the people who were there and how it was originally set up, so I can't just go in making wholesale changes.
Right.
So, obviously, the scoring will never get touched. The roster settings will never get touched, but there's some things like how we do in the draft because it was that stupid lottery system before. Right? So I think until it actually gets posted ahead of time, which was a good reminder here, recording this when we get done, go make some posts and let people know that following this year, we will kick that lottery system to the curb because that's for suckers.
Yeah. I mean,
so if you'd like to tank for early picks, just know that you will actually get your early picks, but you're not subject to some random drawing.
Well, speaking of that though, this is you're not clearly looking to tank too much if this is what the type of moves you're making, right? You're going to get Aaron Jones and Schultz. You're looking to push more towards winning. So
we'll see. We're going to explore and see if obviously Aaron Jones didn't do anything for me for the last week.
We don't know exactly when he's going to play. But to me, this is one of those moves where you're not necessarily leaning all the way into fully committing I have to win this year.
Right.
But you're kind of testing the waters to see if things continue to break right for you. Now I have 2 first. What can I buy at the right time? I think this is kind of a positioning move almost.
Right. Like getting ready to compete. How about that?
Exactly. It's like in chess. Not every move is going to be the finishing move, checkmate, or it's over. You take the king. You got to get in position first. This is a positioning move, I think.
This is more just moving that pawn out, right? So you can get that that bishop free.
Is that what you're doing? Are you trying to bait the rest of the league by just getting this trade popped off?
See if you want it. But I think it was one of those. I think maybe S. Smith, I'm going to guess so, sent us one to me. It's
I'm
it's
sure
hard
he
to
did.
remember.
Actually, you countered, though. You can see up here, right? You got the McNutted up here. So now he probably started it. He, S. Smith has been actually very, very active in the leagues I'm in with him, and he's been, in my DMs and offers a lot. And we got a deal done in this league as well. So I personally think, Mike, when I look at it, though, Aaron Jones is worth, at least a second minimum. Second and a third, I would say, easily still worth.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you have Aaron Jones on a rebuilding team, though, that's the problem. Is I don't know what someone's going to give you in a best ball, right?
Bottom can fall out at any given moment, so
and he hasn't been playing. So
yeah, you got to get him off your team. Dalton Schultz, up until recently, surprisingly, hadn't played very well, but it's a 2 tight end league. I know the premium ain't that hard, but you still got 2 spots to fill in a best ball league. And these aren't the deepest benches either, right? It's not listed in the settings, but it's probably only, 25?
It's exactly.
I think it feels very, very shallow.
It is.
Feels very shallow again. Obviously not a league I set up. That I go at least 35. But so it's a lot tougher to fill those two tight end both positions in a best ball league with shallower benches by not actually having reasonable tight ends, right? Like if it was 35, 40, Adam,
It's actually
you just
30.
throw shit at
It's
it.
30.
Okay.
30 even, so it's right in the middle.
You throw a lot more shit at the wall at tight end in those leagues. Like
Yeah.
you just Josh Oliver.
Yeah, you
We're
get
good.
to 35 spots. You can go like 8 on roster construction. Just here, all of them.
Right, and I got some of those where, like, you look at the bottom, if you pull up Sleeper and the mobile and the trade and it lists all the teams out and, you got all the positions, you get all the way down to the bottom and it's tight end, like, you got to scroll a couple times on some of these best ball leagues I have because I just have every tight end with a pulse.
The waiver wire is constantly getting McNutted bid all year,
Yes.
right? Just keep in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, any tight end who shows anything. But in this league, like, Dalton Schultz actually means something because there's going to be, I don't know, probably 4, 5, 6 times possibly this year that he's going to enter your lineup. To what degree he enters your lineup, it's better than what I had on the bench. So nice little depth piece. And I think, if you want to say Aaron Jones for the 2 seconds, I think that's probably reasonable because one of them's in 25 and Dalton Schultz for the third. You could do it that way. You could definitely do the Aaron Jones for the second and the third and the Dalton Schultz for the 25 second. I think that's also fair, just with format depending. And if I'm S. Smith, like these are assets that if I'm tanking, it's a best ball league. Like I just want to get these points off my team. I know it's a lottery, but you still get better odds for the worse you finish. And it doesn't hurt your tank, and you don't have to worry about 2 assets where if something bad happens, like really bad, catastrophic to Aaron Jones or Dalton Schultz, like those are assets that go almost to 0, and nobody's going to want them ever. Like they become cut candidates at some point. So
yeah. I mean,
it is what it is. Probin move. How about that?
I like
Probin
McNutted. I think this is just a fair deal. I think if I was S. Smith, I probably would have seen if I could have got something back a little better. But realistically, like a second for Schultz is probably what you're going to get. I would have probably wanted more in a second and a third for Jones, but at the same time, if you're trying to move these guys, you can't ask for a ton more. Or to get something done if you're actually wanting to get a deal done. It may not happen right now. It's not like Aaron Jones is coming off of a couple good weeks, too. He's not playing. So I'm with it. I lean in your favor, though, personally.
Hey, and to credit S. Smith, I had to go back and look, too, just to remember how it went. He did try. He did try to get something better, and I hit him with a pass. And so he tried the ATM. He had 2 offers out there. He pulled the ATM on me.
I like it.
Where I'd sent him one, he sent me another one that I was like, no chance in hell. So once I hit him with the pass, he went ahead and just clicked the button.
Okay, there you go. It's like, all right, I'm gonna make sure that there's not a better offer out there. There isn't. Okay, I'll take this one. I like it.
Done deal. Yep.
Nice way to get that done, man. Way to not bend, He'll bend, but he won't break. So we got Achane in a second, Mike, for Bryce Young. Achane, I'm imagine when this trade happens too for T-Rock, this is when Achane was playing very well. So he gets Achane in a second, sends away Bryce Young, Mike. It's a best ball start 14.
This one, even when it happened, was kind of interesting because I don't think T-Rock is competing in that league, Adam. I don't think he's a highly competitive team. And if I'm in that position, I'm not buying running backs, even ones that are young.
Okay. I mean...
Yeah. I'm looking it up just to see if he was competing or not. And he's not. He's 1-9.
I was going to say, I thought he was towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, the 2 for 1, does it do anything for you?
No. Like, best ball league like this, Adam, I'm not competing. I don't want running backs. Like, Bryce Young's similar in value to Achane, however you wanted to rank it. But if you're talking better long-term asset, it's clearly the quarterback. And it's almost always going to be rookie quarterbacks, especially rookie number 1 overall pick quarterbacks. You get the second, but it's going to be, at best case, mid-second probably. Like Kozu's a competitive team. Right. I don't know how good it is, but it's at least better than 1-9 right now.
Yeah, so Kozu's 4-6, so it's
not great, but
he's not.
There's a lot of shitty teams.
It's not a top 3 team. It's not a top 3 pick, but it's probably a 104 to 106 pick. Now, The one thing I will say too, I remember looking at this trade kind of side-eyed, and then I remember T-Rock has like five quarterbacks or something, so he still has. Not that it makes the trade or doesn't. I just want to get the details out there.
Right.
He has Hurts, Burrow, and Stroud still.
Okay. So he had like a little mini QB hoard, and he caved for a running back that's not going to matter to him, and mid-ish second.
Well, so here's what I would say about this. The reason I wanted to get all those details out there is because, like, I'm looking and trying to figure this out as it was happening, and like, see, this is a move though I would make if you told me I was 9-1.
Trade the excess quarterback for the superstar up and coming running back.
So if this is
monster, yes,
and you get a second. Now that's the only thing I wanted to say about this trade is that, like, on the surface, when Achane's smashing, if you're telling me you're really competitive and you don't need all this quarterback or you can't get something, I would have actually loved this. But the one thing is with running backs, I don't want to now, because here's the problem: if you're going to flip, like, do you really think you're going to be able to flip Achane for more than Bryce? Because it's not to win now, this move. It shouldn't be if you're 1-9.
No.
So in that situation, I'm holding Bryce there. Like, even the second doesn't get it done. I want a quarterback, or I want way different assets, like wide receivers and picks only, so that I'm not going to.
So start 14 best ball, like pre what we know about Achane now with the injury, right? Let's just talk about, let's rewind to, till Monday morning where we're like, you're a little banged up. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
We didn't know he's going on IR. How about that? Rewind to then. Start 14 best ball like this, Adam. Price on Achane, just generically in draft picks. First and a second.
At least. I'd say first and second, third. And maybe not at least. That's where it's about, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say at least either because it's a start 14. It's like how many damn pieces you want me to throw
not every person's you in there. So somebody will. We've seen people pay. I've seen people pay stupid for Achane.
Talking about us. Start 14 best ball.
Market, I would have paid a first and a second for Achane, though. Yes, I would have.
You love Achane dearly. And I come to you and I go, Adam, I'm going to sell him to you, but it's going to cost you a first and a second. You pull the trigger and start 14 best ball?
If I'm, like, ready to go?
Yeah. You're 9-1.
Yeah,
ready to roll.
I would do that. Yep.
That makes sense. How much more, though, if I were to tell you, Adam, it's a first and 2 seconds?
I probably would rather see if I can get 3 pieces somewhere else.
Be honest. You tell me to get bent. So
yeah. No, I would say, I would tell you right now I'm not making that trade. But I would say, like, I can go get 3 pieces somewhere else. Like, I can go get Aaron Jones, Dalton Schultz, and someone else because I just saw you like those guys, right?
Now you're on a rebuilder. Doesn't always have to be Bryce Young, but Bryce Young is a nice young quarterback, number 1 pick, that kind of thing. Kind of has some insulated dynasty value. I mean, he hadn't played that bad. I mean, Carolina as a team is god-awful, but Bryce Young's playing decently. Okay, Bryce Young, same scenario. Start 14. Superflex, the way the scoring is on this. First and a second for Bryce Young?
Well, here, let's it out. Let's talk about this, man. Here's the true warp. So what I'm seeing already is that the quarterback is start 14, right? The one thing is, you have 12 other spots to fill to the point you're making of you don't want to send too many assets for a running back. Now, Bryce Young's still a quarterback and the market's still crazy. The scoring here isn't like I have to have Bryce Young. But are you asking like what I would pay just liquid generic picks right now?
Yeah, for a quarterback,
I probably, instead of paying 2 firsts for Bryce, would rather like try to go buy, a cheaper option. But like Bryce is going to cost probably 2 firsts in this league.
There you go. So you just took something that's worth 2 firsts, you sent it away for something that's worth a first and 2 seconds is what you got back.
The only difference is you have
a rebuilder. Like I don't understand the move.
The only thing
understand from Kozu's side, like I would have been like, I'm middle of the road competing anyways. Like Achane hadn't really helped me get to the top anyways. Let me get a quarterback, and you got an extra one that you seem to just want to give away for cheap. By all means, that's what I would have done if I was in Kozu's shoes. Like I can't believe. Sure, by all means, you take them.
The only thing you did get is you have 2 pieces versus 1, but Like part of the problem is like this is if we're talking about it in the past tense without the hindsight, like not hindsight 2020. Achane carries risk. He carries the risk of it. What happens if he gets hurt, right? Like yes. Bryce, if he gets hurt, isn't going to lose a shit ton of value. Now Achane is not super movable. He's not nearly as movable as he was, last week. So on the surface, I just think the timing's wrong. I actually don't have a problem with the trade in a start 14 if you're ready to fucking go. But if you're not, I'd rather just hold that fourth quarterback. I'm not trying to win games. I can only start 2 of those guys every week. It makes so much more sense to stay on Kozu's side, for T-Rock to stay on Kozu's side with Bryce in this build. And I think if you're Kozu in that situation, like to your point, I would love to in a team I'm not competing in, go ahead and solidify up some real quarterback assets as opposed to having a second running back.
So it's one of those things too. I mean, we got the warp graph up here. People are looking at it right now. Quarterback doesn't look that impressive. You go back to last year and look at quarterback, though, like the top 16 are all better than the correlation at running back, wide receiver, all the way down. And 2022 or 2021 is even worse. It's like quarterbacks, to 18 or so are pretty similar. So if you're talking about a quarterback like Bryce, where you think, man, all he's got to be is like a top 18 quarterback to really just pay off in the range of whatever wide receiver, running back I send, similar rookie profiles. I get the long-term stability. I get the positional advantage of having, the positional scarcity of having a quarterback, right? Like, I just don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you take my running back who carries a lot of risk, which we're now seeing, and you take this mid-second. It was a very confusing move. I didn't understand it. I know it's a shit league, T-Rock, but you could still ask, you tell me to fuck off too, like if you don't like my advice. But I would have tried to save you from it.
Mike, I'll give everybody listening too. This is a little analogy, right? So today I went to the store to get some building a computer, right? A second computer to do some of the rendering so I can have my workload not have rendering that's just constantly messing with my computer. So I'm in line. I do all this shopping ahead of time, right? I figure out exactly what I want, the specs. I get the pricing how I want it, as cheap as I can get it while getting the max potential out of it, right? You're all studied. You have this process. And then I get there, Mike. Let's say when I get there, I'm waiting in line, and I just see this awesome stuff there as I'm waiting. Oh, man, I have to have this.
Oh, boy.
All that time, everything I've done ahead of time, I just ruined by making this, speculative purchase because I am seeing Achane go crazy, and I can't wait to have him on my team. That's what it's like. It's like, what? You didn't need to do this in the process that you had. You had a good thing going. I mean, it's not that you don't still, but I think if I was going to sell Bryce in his build, I would have waited for an offer that looks very different than this. That's just so.
Easily.
Sorry, T-Rock, but had to tell you. There's my article summary. All right, Slemmo, Mike. 12-team Superflex PPR. Shit boredom, right?
I can't tell who's hotter already on this trade show, Schultz or Achane.
Does Schultz get a thumbnail? That seems so gross. 24 first or Dalton Schultz versus Achane, Mike, in a 0.25 points per carry and a full tight end premium.
I think I'm going to go with the Schultz in the first thing, and it's not because of Achane's injury. I'm teleporting again back to last week. I think he carried about a first and second value in most best ball leagues, outside of maybe like a start 9. Like, that's kind of just where he was at and what I would have been comfortable paying. We kind of talked about it on the first one, like most best ball leagues, Adam, like I would say that Dalton Schultz probably worth a back end second, like worth more than a third, like just as a tight end in any kind of real tight end premium. This is pretty heavy tight end premium, to be completely honest. So second feels fair. And obviously you got the first just thrown in here. And I don't even know where that first projects, whether that's from a good team or a bad team. But, hey, give me the first and the second best ball, man. We'll just do the process play. Paying a lot of good assets. Like, it's tough to buy players outright for draft picks in best ball. Like, you got to lower your expectations because, people want to sell them for, Achane. Oh, you could be almost 2 firsts. best ball, like it's gonna be hard to find buyers for that. Like not a lot of people are gonna do it because you go, like you mentioned on that first one, it's like I can take this kind of asset, I can take these kind of picks, and I can go, let me go see if I can buy multiple pieces with them. Like can I get 2 or 3? And if I'm competing, that's the route I go 99 times out of 100. It's usually not just spending a whole lot of liquidity in draft picks on one asset. Like I'm good. Let me de-risk myself and let me go get a couple really good assets. So I'm gonna go with the Schultz in the first side here, though it's not egregious by any stretch of the imagination. Now, hindsight, it looks horrible, and you'll take the first in the Dalton Schultz, but that's where we are hindsight-wise.
Yeah, the IR thing hurts, but it should be talked about. So it is easier, I think, Mike, for us to sit here and say Dalton Schultz in the first after we know that Achane's hurt. Like if he's coming off these 3 pop weeks in a row and there seems like no sight and stop of that, it's harder human element-wise to say, I want Dalton Schultz in the first. Now, the one thing I will say, I pulled up the simulator, Mike, and Shockwave, who's getting the Achane side, is very, very likely to. I mean, his wins are in there with the top 3. It's the base Shaboba, Nocturnal Shit, and Carpe Diem Nuts, which is Shockwave. So, if your team's built pretty well and you're going to send Schultz in the first, like I really don't mind the move at all. The problem is exactly what you just saw. If the more you consolidate, the less opportunity you have to like not have a shockwave happen when you get injuries. Like that's the reality. You're going to have more problems every time you consolidate. Every injury, every poor performance hurts you a lot more. Start 11 is it's not super big starting roster. I could see the move. I think more often than not, I'd rather have the 2 pieces for 1. But a late first in Schultz doesn't feel like it's not crazy at all by any means, honestly.
This is one of the weird ones too, because I'm in this league. I'm also a competing team. You talk about Shockwave. He's sitting in third, right behind me, and Shaboba in first. Me and Shaboba are tied in the wins category. But this is also one of those things where you get that itch when you're up at the top to like push your first in. And so one thing, at least for me personally, I've been like, no, I'm good. Let me just wait. And this is one of the reasons, like, I'm going to let the people around me start to push their first in, and then maybe bad shit happens to them. And all of a sudden, when I'm one of the only contenders who's still got their first in their back pocket come week 10, 11, 12, hell, you know me, I don't believe in fucking trade deadlines too. So we get to that second week of the playoffs, and I've already had a bye. It's like, now's the time. Now's the time.
Let's see
there's
what
definitely somebody
get.
out. Yeah, there's definitely somebody out there who's not in the playoffs, just watching this thing that maybe I can go buy for that first. So it's always sketchy, kind of pushing that first in these best ball leagues, especially when your other competitors who are right around the range and like holding serve with what you're doing are still diamond handed the shit out of there.
Speaking of shit boredom, when the non-playoff teams are bored out of their mind, waiting for the playoffs to go. Right. But how about this first, man? How about this first? I like it. All right, we have a T. Higgins sighting, Mike. 12-team Superflex PPR lineup start 10. Meat packing beef boys.
What a name of a league, man. We get some doozies out here, don't we?
I love the fact that we implemented having this on here so that like we can just read some of the crazy shit we get. Tyler Orban, 22, is receiving T. Higgins. G-Dog, 12-8-3, is receiving a 24 first. The way I'm looking at this,
getting his first back.
Getting the first back. T or your own first back?
If that's the case, I'm getting my own first back. I'll send away T. Higgins. As much as I love T, like this is easy for me.
So, and then I think we got to talk about it from the flip side. If I need my first back, so we're going into week 6. If I'm telling, if it's a situation where I need my first back in week 6, I need it back. I found out I needed it back. Now, Mike, would you trade away that diamond first to acquire T?
No.
No. Agreed.
No, so I'm taxing the shit out of you.
And this is where, for me, it's a clear win on one side. It's a leverage thing more than anything else. It's just a principle thing. Like you're gonna have to give me more than a receiver that not everyone loves, that is good. I'll fight for T, but shit, man, I'm giving you this back. Like I don't know how realistic it is. I don't know if he can get to Caleb or if he can get to Drake May, but if he has a chance to make this a top 3 pick, this is going to look stupid.
I'm running them through the old simulator right now on the official title of the league, right? So let's not sell it short here, even though this one was fantastic. The official title is the 12 Meatpacking Beef Boys. So we put a solid number on that.
So speaking of which, what number is he given the 12?
This is weird, man, because so many people are bunched together.
Yeah.
And G-Dog actually comes out number 2 in the simulator, though it's not a lot, though. 5.58 wins. So I don't know what the actual record is in the league. But it's good that we got
you're saying number 2.
fancy-ass tools at South Harmon.
Wow.
So I can just go to sleep here, and I can actually find the league here, and it'll give me the record.
Well, what makes that now? See, this is where the trade would become more interesting from a dynamics. Is Mike? Let's say this is actually a competitive team, and he just thinks that this first is going to be able to go get him something different. What would you rather have there? A mid to late first or T?
T. Higgins.
There you go, Sam.
T. Higgins.
Context is everything, my friend. You give me a late first, I'll take T. You give me a mid first, I'm thinking, right, but I'm still probably taking T.
So it's probably more the state of how terrible everybody in the league is roster constructed, because G-Dog's actually officially in last place at 0-5. So.
Oh my God! He's gonna tank regardless. Now he's gonna go.
But you run it through the league simulator, and all of a sudden there's a guy with 5.56 wins, 5.58, and 4.86. These are the top teams in the league, Adam. So this is like razor close as far as people being shitty. Everyone's trying to tank, but only G-Dog so far has been successful in being 0-5.
Typically, though, when it's all bunched together like that, it's a newer league, right? But
right.
Man, you know what's – wow. There's no way. Especially if you're 0-5, let's even say you had bad luck get in there. Like you are 0-5. No.
Right.
I don't want T. Higgins. Come on, man. You got to give me more than that. No.
That's crazy.
Send you meat packing, man. Fuck that.
Meat packing. We're down to 11.
T. Higgins. Come on.
We're down to 11.
Trevor Lawrence, Garrett Wilson, a 24 first. This is a absolute banger. T-Law, Garrett Wilson, 24 first for Tyreek and Patrick Mahomes. No longer a stack, but holy Santa Claus shit, man.
Ooh, baby.
Dynasty Land 3.
All right, so I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm going to go with the Lightning Panda side, Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. And here's my reasoning why.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence in the first. I think you could make a case that maybe it's not enough for Patrick Mahomes, but I'm going to say that it is, right? Trevor Lawrence for the 24 first. Like that's how you tear down off of Patrick Mahomes, is you stay within the elite quarterback range and you pick up a first. It's a good move. Now, people can argue back and forth, right? Adam, you would be one like Mahomes is just different. Like, I think I need a little bit more. I get it. Mm-hmm. But if I just say that it is enough, Adam, and I say that it's equal, Tyreek Hill or Garrett Wilson, I'm taking Tyreek Hill 8 million times out of 8 million over Garrett Wilson. I was taking him before when Garrett Wilson had the wide receiver hype, and I told everybody Tyreek Hill's my dynasty wide receiver 3. Fuck the age. The guy just produces, and he's probably going to do it for the next couple years. And that's all that really matters in dynasty, and lo and behold, here we are. Tyreek Hill is an elite producer. The age doesn't matter. He's probably going to do it again next year. You can save the Garrett Wilson hype and everything that surrounded him, because it ain't happening this year, probably ain't happening next year, and Tyreek Hill is just really getting good at football and stop being an ageist. So you smash the shit out of that part, even if I say the other part's even.
So to me, this trade, like, I could understand. Now, I'm not going to say I would do it. I could understand the Garrett Wilson Tyreek pivot if you're like really, really out of contention. You know, your roster constructed poorly, all that type stuff, right? Man, but I'll be honest with you. This trade, when I just see this is one of those trades that if you just give me this, I'm going to have a hard time grading it, because that first round pick means everything.
Mm-hmm.
If that first round pick is probably even starting it somewhere mid to late, I'm fucking out.
If it's anything 4 or later,
I am out.
Care.
Like, I'm completely not even close out. Mike, you go to the simulator. Now, to your point, the simulator is going to give you a screen capture shot of the reality of the league. If there's bunches together, it's going to have some errors because it can't tell you roster construction. It can't tell you the breaks you're going to get, right? But the disparity though, like the parity here is not there. There is 2 to 3 teams in this league. Lightning Panda is one of them, and the other one, Mike, is the Baba Yaga. I mean, the simulator has him as the most wins. So somehow he gave him a pick that's the first that was the only one that's worse than his.
Right.
No,
Baba Yaga.
No
Baba Yaga
way.
number 3 in the league right now in record wise too, sitting at 4-1.
No way, dude. No chance. And then Lightning Panda is looking like one of the best teams in the league. I'm gonna let you get Mahomes and Tyreek Hill for your title run, dude. No chance. Lineup start 10 too. You were making a point earlier. I just wanted to touch on this. I like T-Law plenty. Man, if you tune into everything we do, I've fought Mike on T-Law before. All right, but when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. Like, I understand what you're saying, Mike, in scenarios of tearing down. If I can tear down and stay in the elite range, I understand all that. But in lineup start 10, Patrick Mahomes is as untouchable for me as untouchable is basically can get. Now, nobody really is. Like, I'll sell Mahomes, but if I'm going to sell Mahomes in this league, you're paying the fuck up. Like, Mike, you'd have to pay me probably remove Tyreek Hill to even, like, get me thinking about moving Mahomes. Like this is a hard pass for me. Lightning Panda killed this one.
This Lightning Panda team too is like stupid.
It probably was pretty stupid before the trade.
Well, he's got Mahomes now, right? QB1. Running backs, David Montgomery's playing really well, right? But this is more like the fragile running back build where you're just like, dude, I just want guys. Give me guys. So David Montgomery, Dameon Pierce, but wide receivers at him: Tyreek Hill, Tyler Lockett. At tight end, he's starting Mark Andrews, Jalen Waddle. So he's got both Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. DeVonta Smith, CeeDee Lamb, Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins just chilling on the bench. Just hanging out. Just, doing whatever. Like, I don't need him. I'm good. Listen, the only thing the suggestion I would make is if I had both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I'm taking Lamar Jackson as much as I love him. I'm going straight to the Tua owner and being like, can I down tier? Like, can I get Tua from you? You take Lamar, I'm going to plug Tua into my QB2, and boom, I got the stack of stacks. Waddle and Tyreek. We're good to go, baby. Fire this Dolphins team up.
That's too easy, man. That's too easy. I do think, too, in a lineup start 10, just to a team that's already good, the acquisition of Patrick Mahomes has to cost more. It has to.
Yes, I would.
If you're already built well, understand in lineup start 10, if you build the right way, the right pieces, the foundations, you can stay relevant every year. Why am I going to feed that team Patrick Mahomes? That is a hard pass for me, man. A hard pass for me.
Kind of stupid.
All right, maybe we do have right now. Everybody needs a room full of heroes, Mike. So, B Harris 724, Cooper Kupp in a 24 third, or Smiley Cyrus getting Luke Musgrave in a 25 first.
Wow.
12 team Superflex PPR, 0.5 tight end premium lineup start 10. So same lane lineup start 10.
What is this Did Blitz just find all the bad trades? Is that what he did?
Well, no, this is on the way out. Listen, the shitheads are flexing out here, man. This is
I guess so. This is the shithead flex edition. Other than mine, which was a very reasonable trade for both shitheads. Ever since then, it's just been this dog shit. Cooper Kupp in the third, Adam. This isn't close at all. I mean, Cooper Kupp's worth more than a 25 first at this point, and Luke Musgrave in a half-point tight end premium lineup start 10.
I'll take the third.
Who gives a shit?
I'll take the third. I'll take Cooper Kupp, and I'll see you guys next time.
I got nothing else for this one. What? How do I even argue for the other side? I like to try, but I can't.
Why?
It's impossible.
Why do that? Why go down that lane of misery? Here. Let me try to defend the Luke Musgrave side of this trade, which we know in A-Warp that it's just not a good thing to do. All right. Now we're talking, Mike, because I love a trade where it's Mello and Schumer, because either way I win. This is a win-win for me.
It's
if
Catalina
you fuck
fucking
this
wine
up,
mixer.
I get to fire your ass.
Let's
But
go.
if not, I'm going to look like a genius to Mike. All right.
Uh,
Schumer, 25 first of Mellows and 25 second of Mellows, as well as Zach's 24 first. Listen, there's someone's losing in this deal. Maybe it's Zach.
there's shitheads galore here.
And then Calvin Ridley, Dallas Goedert, Debo Samuel. Man, I tell you, Mello had to throw that Debo in there just to
Piss you off.
I know exactly what he's doing. 12-team Superflex, 2 tight ends, full PPR, 0.75 tight end premium, best ball start 12, open mic league. Open mic, Mike, who you got?
I hope these picks are good, Schumer. At least one of them. Like, otherwise, how do I justify anything in this? Like, I can't. It's a 2 tight end plus a 0.75 tight end premium, which best ball too, Adam. Not A-Warp life does not apply. All right, A-Warp does not exist here. No one cares. So Dallas Goedert's like a random first at this point. He's worth every bit of it, right?
Yeah, he's worth more than a second. Like, if someone won't pay a full first here, I get it. To your point, though, like, he's worth much more than a second. You're starting 2, and the tight end premium is heavy.
Yeah. And then pick Debo or Calvin Ridley in a best ball. Like, is one of those dudes worth a 25 first? You could argue yes. And then you take the other one. Are they worth more than a 25 second? The answer is undoubtedly yes. So this all hinges on one of these picks being good. Like, are you counting on Melo being bad in 25, or is Zach currently not good? Like, is I'm not good actually not good?
Now, what if it's both?
Could be.
What if? Because I've seen a lot of Melo teams that are worth betting against in 25.
There's a lot of Melo teams I'm betting against in 24.
Well, that's what I mean.
You just bet against Melo all the time.
So here, let's talk through this, okay? Schumer is clearly he's as low as you can possibly get on the wins column, right?
Tank of all tanks.
Now, the only thing I'll say about that is when you're already that low. Now, granted, this is after this trade's made, but when you're that low and you've separated that much, like, you don't necessarily have to just trade every bit of points off your roster at that point. If you're that bad, you're not going to win games, you know. But this does help him get points off of his rebuild. And then we have Zach, who's actually in the middle based on the simulator here. And then we have Melo, who's right now top of the simulator. So, Mike, you're looking at probably the only thing is in 25, you'd have to pull up his team and take a look at it. Like, what's his team look like? Is it worth betting against next year? Is he really old? Or not really?
Yeah. Kinda. Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah, he's got a lot of old expiring running backs. Like, he's still us from last year.
2017 running backs all over that roster.
Jacobs, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, there's my 2017 guys. Let's go.
Let's go.
Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara. Yeah, man, bring them up.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Now, okay, because the reason I wanted to go through that is, like, I do hear that, but he probably, based on this league simulator, his team's probably not going to be, like, assed out next year.
Yeah.
But the only thing I will say is that, yes, to everything you just said, your point, Ridley and Debo and Goddard, just on the surface generically for picks, it's a little bit light. The one thing, though, to keep in mind for all these guys is none of them have the ability to get as high as one of these first does if things go wrong for Melo or if Zach falls out of the playoffs this year. All that being said, I still want Melo's side because – and I'm not even a Debo guy, but, Mike, if you tell me now that Debo – my biggest thing all offseason was that I don't think many people are going to pay a first for Debo, and I still don't think many people pay it outright, just a generic first of their own or someone else's. If he's under that price, though, there's no one in the world that's going to say that he's not worth a second, man. Like,
right.
Even a second and a third in best ball. So, Schumer, I think he's trying to do the play of just stacking up picks, like, mounting up a complete pick horde and rebuild, but I would have tried to tax Melo a little more, man. He didn't even come to the fucking expo. Like, I'm taxing him,
He's got to show up, man.
Yeah, man.
Show up. Got to show up.
Are you with that too?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taxing the shit out of Melo because it's Melo.
All right, we'll get Tyreek on here, man. Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey. So my
deuces.
Lineup start 10. You're talking about two absolute fucking hammer units in lineup start 10. Like Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill in an acquisition. Forget what the cost is for a second. Those two acquisition on a lineup start 10 team that's already good, that's ridiculous thinking about it. You're sending away Elijah Moore, Treylon Burks, a 24 first of yours, and a 24 first of Jay Detroit's getting his own back, and then a 24 first of his own as well as 24 of Jabber's. So 2 first, 2 seconds, Elijah Moore, Treylon Burks, Mike. 12-team Superflex, half PPR. Which side do you want here?
Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, as long as those first aren't ridiculous. But I do see that Jay Detroit's getting one back, so maybe he's maybe the rest of his team was dog shit, and he was like, these guys are wasting away. Let me get my first back.
That's exactly what this
case,
trade looks
a
like.
heady move. That's a heady move. But this is also how, if you're Japper, unlike the previous one we saw, you tax the living shit out of somebody if you're giving them their first back.
Yeah, I think, Mike, at least for what this trade is, how it's constructed, this is exactly what that looks like. And I've been there. It's where you got Tyreek Hill, you got Christian McCaffrey, like this team's legit. All of a sudden, you don't have your first. You don't have the flexibility, and you realize, oh, shit, this is not going my way. And I have these older guys on my team that aren't going to help me win. So, man, the question for me is, can he turn that first into a 103, 101 pick?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good trade then. Like, this is a good trade. Mm-hmm. I honestly think, let me ask you this question, Mike. If that can become 101, like if that can become Caleb Williams, do you send everything else back that he did in this trade? Like, if you're telling me you're going to give someone back their 101, are you attaching your first, their second 201, and then your second and Burks and Elijah Moore to get these two guys?
No, I'm more of an asshole.
There you go.
It's like, it's Tyreek, Christian McCaffrey. I'll give you your first and the second back.
I'm with you. I do think
I put my first and second into it. Like, it's like,
that's what I mean.
I'm like, here you go, buddy. Take it or leave it. You want Caleb, right? You want Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'll give you your first and second back. I'll be reasonable, but I'm taking Tyreek and Christian McCaffrey. And I guess if you wanted like an Elijah, something as a toss in, but my first and second are not going into this one.
I would have let you have your pick. I would have probably, because you play this hardball game, right? Now, I agree with you. And then I would have said, okay, you can pick my first or your second. Like, I'll give you that up tier even. Like, you can have my first and I'll keep your second if you want.
You can have the 112 or you can have the 201. What do you want?
And you'd at least have some upside if shit goes wrong for me. It probably won't if I'm getting Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey. But when there's only, like, I'm playing in 30-something leagues. You're playing in close to 40 now?
40, yeah. A little over 40.
Do you know how many times I have this opportunity happen? It's
Very
happened,
rare.
but it's once or twice a year.
Right.
In 30-something leagues. When you have this happen, man, this is one of the few times where you just have so much leverage. And I know you want to win, but I basically, it's like that GIF you saw in the last trade show. And I hold your face as close to the fire as humanly possible so that you feel this thing,
Yeah.
If you want this first back, it is going to cost you.
By all accounts, too, I've let some people off pretty easy, like, given their first back, at least according to them. Like, I thought you were going to be even more unreasonable. Like, I'm not saying you got to be ridiculous, and some people will look at this and go, oh, okay. But, Adam, we've also had it, too, where, like, I didn't feel like I taxed Blitzing Buzzard, our guy Blitzing Buzzard. He wanted his first back when he took over an orphan. And he was like, I thought it was going to be way worse. Like, he told me that in DMs. And then, like, people in the league lost their mind. This is league breaking. How dare you?
That's
like,
the only thing about
worse,
it.
Right?
That's the only thing about it, though. If this doesn't look like this trade does, you get some of those mutiny, fucking crazy,
right?
Because they're gonna win the league. It's ridiculous. Well,
yeah.
What's the other person supposed to do? Jay Detroit's got 2 aging old stars and probably not shit at quarterback, and he wants to go get himself Caleb. Or if he doesn't end up doing that, he's going to get Marvin Harrison. So
right. Yeah, he's got a bad team.
I'll be honest with you. This is one of those where I'm not going to pick a loser. I will criticize just that. I'm not even going to say criticize. Like, my recommendation is, if you have this happen again, Japper, like, lean into, like, you want this pick back. I'll sit here and hold it and watch how much this hurts, right? Every week that goes by.
Exactly.
But I will say that I think it's a good trade. I think Jay Detroit did very well to get that extra first and second in there. Elijah Moore and Burks. Elijah Moore especially starting, like, in lineup leagues, like, I advocate buying for him in best ball and lineup start 10. I don't really care. Burks is someone I'm still mildly interested in lineup start 10. So, like, I think he did a very good job given his situation, honestly.
I mean, best case scenario, what for Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, 3rd round startup picks next year, just because of age. Like, best case.
I mean,
like
you could maybe if Tyreek goes over 2K, he's in the 2nd round. You know, like,
I'm telling you, the 101, 102, and 103 are probably all going to be approaching 1st round startup territory.
Well, I'll tell you this
like,
much.
People look at it now and they lose their fucking minds. You look at it this time next year and you go, man, Jay Detroit got a haul.
Without catastrophic injury, I'm talking like really, really bad, Caleb and Marvin Harrison are guaranteed to go ahead of both McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill next year in startups. Like, guaranteed. Those two.
Yeah.
It's just happening. So,
yeah.
Well done, man. I think, you know, and I'm giving Japper a little shit, but at the same time, when this deal finally goes through, you probably gave him back more than you should, but I'd imagine your team is really ready to fucking go win a title. So go win the money, man. Go win the money. Last trade, Mike.
Fuck, 10 team.
10 team. Let's set it off. Let's send them out of here on the right way, you know? 10 team style. 10 team Superflex PPR lineup start 10. We got a lot of lineups today, too. This one's just called Dynasty. Good for you guys.
Just Dynasty.
I love this. Zay Flowers, a 25 first, and $15 in fab. Don't forget the 15. Romeo, 24 first, 25 second. Jay Lambo's, this is odd. So he's getting his 24 back to send his 25.
Maybe you don't care about either. I don't know.
Well, like, I'm trying to think about this just in my head. If I'm trading you back for my first, like, it typically is going to mean I don't feel as good about this year as I wanted to, right?
Right.
And if I did that, why do I feel so great about 25?
I don't know. Maybe, like, really going to turn it around.
Okay. Well,
1 year.
All right, let's grade the trade. Let's look at the pieces. I'm over here trying to figure out what the hell's going on, but we'll get to that. What do you think of the trade as a whole? Yeah.
Just generically, I would say Zay Flowers is probably worth everything on the bottom. Generically, with that first.
He's at least worth the first. Like, the second, you could maybe argue, but he's at least worth the first. He's probably worth more than a generic first at this point, right?
Yes.
So, gosh, man, I personally, I would need to know more about the picks, because, like, if these are generic or whatever, I love the top side here, man.
So Jay Lambo actually has one of the better teams in the simulator. Number 3, Anahat. I don't know how you say it. Anahat.
Anahat?
Yeah, sure. Anahat. I'm not.
I'm not good.
Anahat. Yeah. The worst team in the league. Right? Worst team in the league. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Dobbs, who gives a shit, giving back a better team's first to go get their pick and bet against them in 25 instead of bet against them in 24. The only thing that you probably don't like to see is that, you know, if you're bad for a knot in 2024, you're probably going to be bad in 2025, and I don't really want to be letting my second go, especially in a 10 team where that's, you know, the 112. It's a late first for us normal people who play in 12-team leagues.
I would agree. Although, like, I agree with that point. Although in a 10 team, I don't like to give that pick up, but at the same time, I can probably understand, like, I'm not going to construct my team around
that. It really doesn't mean shit.
Late first in the 12-team leagues, you know. So, like,
I get you.
I do think it's a good trade for the top side personally. Like Romeo Dobbs in this league, for everyone that's listening, I don't know if you play in 10 teams. I don't, but I can tell you one thing's for damn sure is I don't care at all about him in a 10-team league because I hardly care about him in a 12-team best ball league. Like, yeah. I want the top side, man.
This is crazy.
Zay
too.
Flowers, I think, is a good enough receiver to be like, top 20, top 25 receiver range. Where in 10 teams, those are a lot of what you want.
You think about it like that could be your wide receiver 5, and like Zay Flowers as your wide receiver 5 is pretty decent.
I mean, if you're starting 10, so in a lineup start 10, you should be able to start 5, and if you're gonna have a 10 team, like those 5 need to consolidate up the board. So I'm pretty in on that top side, especially because as you see here, there's none of his first are involved here. It's only his second. You basically saying here it's a late first now. I'll let you have it back. I'll take down the road the ability for it maybe not to be a late first when I'm getting my team better. So I think all in all a good trade for him. What I don't understand truthfully, Mike, is what's in it for the bottom side. Like that's what I've been running through my head here. Like in a lineup start 10, even if my team's good, I don't know why I'm trading away Zay Flowers for my 109, 110. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It doesn't add up to me.
And then I don't know. Probably the easiest way to look at it is you just take the first and you cancel them out, and you can give a little bit of an edge to, 24 versus 25 if you really want to, just on the surface. So then it comes down to Zay Flowers for Dobbs in a second, and in a 10-team start 10, like pass. Like I'm good.
What I really love to finish it off with is now somehow, these two got to the point where, all right, all that stuff is close, but the $15, man, that's what puts us back. We're in business, baby. Let's get the deal done,
I always love when somebody just sneaks that in too. Like, mad respect to anybody who could just be like, yeah, we're close, buddy, but you know what I really need? $15. I'm going to start doing that more. Like, I'm going to sneak like $5 in fab into every one of my fucking deals from now on.
My heart wants to say like he had this deal out there and he sent the ATM back with $15 in there. Like, here, this is what I need to make this deal happen.
You think about all the pressure you put on somebody too. Like that counter comes in and it's the exact same thing that you just sent them, but it's $15 in fab, and you're like, right. Am I really going to blow this fucking thing up over some fab? Fuck.
Right. What if we get a counter back and forth with fab in there? That would be just terrific. Oh, that was a good one, man. There was some man, that Mahomes deal. There was some absolute ridiculous trades here. Like, I still can't get out of my head the fact that this team is already built well, and we're giving them Mahomes for this. Like, that just is so wild to me. A lot of good deals in today's show, though, man. What did you think?
Not bad. There was a Mahomes deal that just went down in one of my other leagues from one of our patrons, so I'm sure it'll be on the next trade show, where I also looked at it and I went, what the fuck? Shout out to Dynasty Berry too, right? Eric does that segment for the waiver wire pod. If you're not checked out to the South Harmon podcast feed, by the way, that is just absolutely loaded front to back all week with good stuff. Spotlight series comes out on Mondays. I don't know how. Okay, I'm just a dumb idiot, but I get these big time awesome guests to come on with me, and my dumb ass ask them questions. So if you want to check them out, not so much me, but check out our awesome guests we get on Spotlight series. Eric's waiver pod comes out on Tuesday, but on that waiver pod, he puts out a segment at the end of it. Credit to Dynasty Berry, the "What the fuck are we doing here" segment. Yeah, and I think these two Patrick Mahomes deals that I've just witnessed, I definitely need to be on the trade show version of the "What the fuck are we doing here?"
Well, I mean, it's just crazy because like in my mind, Patrick Mahomes isn't attainable, but it almost makes you think like there's a little bit of people get so tied up in like the right here and right now, and it's he hasn't looked the same as last year. It's been 5 fucking weeks, people. This is the best asset in the whole game. Like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Segment. Come on, man. Stupid stuff. All right, Mike. Let's get us out of here. You're on mute before we get out of here.
That's all right. That's a what the fuck are we doing? I gave up. I was like, I'm done talking. There's no eyebrow gate. I'm just ready for more bad predictions on Start Sit Show so Christian can make fun of us in a short. So
yeah, I mean, you also don't have.
Unfortunately for Christian, by the time you guys watch this, and Christian's gonna have to edit, this, so he's gonna see it. But just so he knows, here at the end, he's making his podcasting debut on the South Harmon Network this week. So,
yep.
Christian, just know that this goes both ways, buddy. Like, I have the ability to make shorts, and so does Adam. So, just know that the receipts will be coming hard and fast.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I'm not petty. I'm not gonna,
Bullshit.
I wouldn't go surfing to see if there's any
You're
faux
going to be
pas
scouring
happen.
This America's game with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, anything on our network, I absolutely do. But Christian, I'm kind of excited for this one, and yeah, let me just say, if and when things go wrong, Mike will probably beat me to it, but it'll somehow get on the interwebs, I'd imagine.
I'll hand it off to you. I'll find it. I'll clip it. Then I'll hand it off to you for the awesome graphics.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
I will murder you on the YouTube short.
Good luck. With that being said, if you do want your deals featured, patreon.com/South Harmon. $5 a month gets you on the Trade Show channel. You can also check out all the other deals that are happening in there, which we don't get to feature on the show. If you could go down, hit the like, comment, subscribe if you found this useful and actionable. And last but not least, if you've seen the warp, you're interested in it, hit the warp tool, man. Hit the warp tool, southharmonff.com/warp, and check out the giveaways, man. We got dope giveaways right there.
Coming. There's going to be one right there. Right, there's going to be a Colorado Buffaloes helmet signed by Deion Sanders. Right, you're going to want that, and we're just going to let that Tyreek Hill signed alternate full-size Dolphins helmet just marinate back there. But at some point, it will be a giveaway. I'm just going to marinate.
Mike's not ready to let it go just yet, but
whenever I figure it out too, we'll get a taller stand so you can just see it all the time. I got to move my fat ass so you can see it through the mic boom.
Well, there you go. You got a sneak peek of the giveaways. Mike turned his chair, so we got it for y'all. So
you had to sneeze.
No eyebrow gate, but we got the sneak peek, man. We got the sneak peek. This sneak peek. Christian, make sure you get that in there. We'll see you back here, same time, same place next week for the Dynasty Trade Show. We're out of this thing. Peace.